The Houston Texans are going to need to find some bargains in free agency to help fill out their roster, and specifically over on defense. I believe I've found the next great DeMeco Ryans bargain defender. Let's talk about it. Powered by my friends at BetUS. The Texans did a really good job last year remaking that defensive tackle room that was led by Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins in 2023. Now, didn't get much from Malik Collins, shipped him off. Sheldon Rankins was a free agent, but the Texans went out there and found Foley Fatukasi, Mario Edwards, and Tim Settle in free agency. Didn't break the bank to get any of those players. Fatukasi and Edwards headed back to free agency. Settle has one more year on his contract, and then the team went and found Tommy Togiai in the middle of the year. So it's safe to say that even if you don't recognize the name or there hasn't been a tremendous amount of success from the player, that DeMeco Ryans and his staff can go in there and find some gems and not spend a whole bunch of money to get those gems. Let's talk about the player, the cost to get the player, and ultimately the verdict on this player. You'll rue the day that you haven't heard of Sebastian Joseph-Day. Let's start with the player, Sebastian Joseph-Day. He is a 30-year-old this season defensive tackle that played for the Tennessee Titans last year. Day was a rotational player at the defensive tackle spot. The Titans have one of the best defensive tackle duos in all of football, maybe could be the best, led by Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat. So Joseph-Day was in there to help out the big fellas when they needed a break. He ended up with 2.5 sacks and 44 tackles, but his 77.9 Pro Football Focus run defense grade is what I really wanted to focus on. That ended up being a top 10 Pro Football Focus run defense grade, and it ended up higher than both of his highly touted teammates at defensive tackle, Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons. Sebastian Joseph-Day is a run stuffer. He's a run stopper. He's been in the league for a few years, and he's bounced around. This would be, if he left the Titans, his third team in 3 years that he would end up being after he changed teams. And so there is a little concern about why this guy can't stick here or there. But when you think about what the Texans' defensive tackle room is right now, which is just Tommy Togiai and Tim Settle, Sebastian Joseph-Day is a big-time fit for the Houston Texans. His run stuffing ability would be that to try to replace what Foley Fatukasi brought to the table. And Joseph-Day was way better from a Pro Football Focus rating than Fatukasi last season at stopping the run. And when you think about some of the places where you need to get a good, solid deal, but you maybe don't want to invest a rookie there and give them a ton of playing time, you need a guy like Joseph-Day, who's played a lot of football, bounced around. He's a durable player. He had one season drastically affected by injury, but he played all the games last season for the Titans, and most years he misses maybe one game or so due to injury. That's a big boost when you think about what Fatukasi was last year, where he was seemingly constantly hurt and not available for the Houston Texans. So Sebastian Joseph-Day, a free agent defensive tackle. We're deep in the weeds here, but this is the type of player that is maybe an afterthought in March, that by October, you're looking around and you're like, glad they got that guy. So let Sebastian Joseph-Day marinate for you a little bit. We'll talk about the price for Joseph-Day here in just a second. I want to remind you that my friends at BetUS, they got that casino for you. It's not a gamble to sign Sebastian Joseph-Day, but you can get in the casino and gamble a little bit with BetUS. From table games to slots to live dealer tables, BetUS has a 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000 in their casino and a 250% crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000 in their casino. Of course, always please game responsibly. What's the price for a guy like Sebastian Joseph-Day? Now, you're saying to yourself, Cody, he had that high Pro Football Focus run defense grade. He's a rotational player. He's probably looking to break the bank. Well, he made $4 million last year with the Tennessee Titans, and most projections have him making about $4 million, $4 or $5 million for Sebastian Joseph-Day. It's around what the investment was in Foley Fatukasi a year ago for the Houston Texans, but you get a guy who is a little bit more successful from the previous season, has a little bit more durability to him. $4 or $5 million, even if you have to go a little bit above $5 million. Remember, you got to be very careful with some of the defensive investments because you've got a lot of depth pieces that you need to go find on defense. Basically, every position could use a depth player, but Joseph-Day is more than a depth player. He could be a rotational player for the Texans with a heavy emphasis on him being in there in early rush downs. So the $5 million, a little over $5 million if you have to go that high to get him, that's a worthwhile investment. Heck, if you wanted to make it a 2-year investment, I'm sure he'd love to put down a little bit of roots and hang around a team for a couple years. So not the most extreme financial investment to get a guy like Sebastian Joseph-Day. So what's the verdict on Sebastian Joseph-Day? Thumbs up on this. Chase this guy. Let's see if you can end up with a really fun run-stuffing defensive tackle to help out when Tim Settle is in the game or when you want to pair him with Tommy Togiai, and maybe you get a younger player in what is supposed to be a very, very deep defensive tackle class that can kind of grow into Joseph-Day's spot over the next year or two if you signed him to more than 1 year. Sign me up for Sebastian Joseph-Day on the Houston Texans, especially if that money comes in at about $4.5 million, like some of the projections are. And even if it got to about $5 million, with his ability to stuff the run, and you're going to have to stuff the run at some point. You can't always be relying on those linebackers to take care of business. I like the run stuffing. I like the fit for the Texans. I like that he outperformed in the Pro Football Focus grading. 2 highly touted teammates, ends up with a top 10 ranking in Pro Football Focus's rush defense. Sign me up for the 3 named man, Sebastian Joseph-Day. It's actually Joseph-Day, so it's really only 2 names. So the second name's actually 1 name, but it's got 2 components to it. That's all, Let's not get in the details here. Sebastian Joseph-Day. You'll rue the day that you listen to me talk about his 2, almost 3 names in there. But you won't rue the day if you're the Houston Texans and you sign this guy to plop right into the middle of your defensive tackle situation, in the middle of your defensive line, and you stuff a couple of those runs over the course of the season. What say you? They fit? They fit. Sebastian Joseph-Day fit for you? Let me know in the comment section down below on your way down there. Throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out my friends at BetUS. And of course, we've got the other videos up for you. A look at Chris Godwin, as well as a look at Trey Smith, 2 expensive free agents. So I figured we'd go find a bargain here with Sebastian Joseph-Day. And that will conclude my day talking about Sebastian Joseph-Day. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait till we talk Texans again soon.